Welcome to the Regal Eagle Report. I'm Lasya.
I'm Nikhil.
I'm Aryan, and we are your co-hosts.
We are Team 2869, a diverse and inclusive team located at Bethpage High School.
We are aiming for our podcast to be an outlet to interact with other teams and collaborate on varied ideas and thoughts.
We are so excited to introduce our brand new series where we will be interviewing one team from each state.
So embark on our journey as we will be aiming to hit every state, reaching a goal of 50.
For this week's episode, we'll be interviewing a Morpheus from New Hampshire.
So please introduce yourselves as well as your position on the team. We'll start first. Okay, so I'm Aryan. I'm the CAD and CAM lead for our team. So I do all the 3D design of our robot, and I lead and mentor the people doing the CNCing and machining and 3D printing of our parts.
I'm Nikhil. I am a CNC lead, and I also work a lot with mechanical stuff.
My name's Lasya. I'm the fundraising lead, and I help with anything outreach or operations based. So let's start with our questions. Our first question is, how was your team founded? Like, what is its origin?
You want to take that? Okay. Okay. So I was one of the founding students of the team back in summer of 2015, and we got it started. Oh, sorry. Let me turn this notification sounds off. My brother and I were both on a team previously, and after he graduated, I got with some of my friends and was like, okay, let's start our own. Sorry, did I cut out for a sec or?
No, it's okay. You're good now.
Okay. Actually, could you finish answering this question? I'm getting a call from my boss.
I'll be happy to answer. My two of my sons were in high school, and they had some experience on another team, and with a few friends, I think 5 kids. They approached me and says, "Dad, will you coach us?" So anyhow, I agreed. I said, "Well, it's I've been sort of playing mentor on this other team just because my kids were on it. I had a good idea of how they were running things, and I figured I could at least do that well, and I may hopefully do better. So here we are."
So was there a story behind your team's name? And if so, what is it?
I'll answer that again because Blair is apparently off here. But I was there. One of our students. They were trying out. What should we call our team? Various concepts, and somebody came up with the idea of dreaming big. And so Morpheus is the god of dreams, Greek god of dreams. And I think they settled on that. It was quite a vigorous debate at the time. Blair can probably answer that better if you remember the debate.
No, I think that was a pretty good summary. There were a few other names in contention, but something that also helped is a lot of the team members at the time were fans of the movie The Matrix. And so it's like Morpheus, both the Greek god of dreams and this character from this movie we like. So it's like perfect.
How long have each of you been a part of FRC?
Amir, do you want to start with that?
Sure.
All right. So I've been a part of FRC for a little bit over a year, I think. I remember joining the team during Battle Cry. Like, I was given the t-shirt, and I didn't do anything because I didn't know what to do. But my dad just came in and he's like, "You're a part of this team now." I'm like, okay, I'll make it work. So, yeah. Not very long, but a lot has happened since then.
So that probably would have been Battle Cry 23. So last late spring, probably 23.
Yeah. I've gone through one full season or one full year of FRC, which was this crescendo year. I also kind of got introduced to FRC in the 2023 off season. Kind of started participating a little bit there and getting familiar with what I was doing. Then, yeah, from there I've just been on the team.
And then I started FRC back in 2014, so quite a ways back. But it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. What's like Battle Cry? Is that like a competition?
It's a competition that's held at the Worcester Polytechnic Institute, where an off-season event, they have like their own alteration of the rules, and it's really cool, actually. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone else can say a bit more on that, but there's lights, everything. It feels official to me. Like, that's my impression of it.
High production value.
Yeah. Got it. So okay, our next question is like, is there like, are you a school affiliated team or like community? And like, if so, like, is it like in a small school district, like many areas come together, or is it like huge?
Let's see who wants to take this one.
Do you want me to take it?
Well, Tommy, I think, can take it probably.
I can do.
Yeah.
So we're a community team. We're out of Concord, New Hampshire. So that's just a city in New Hampshire. It's the capital. So that's where we're out of. Our workshop is at the Kang's house, kind of a section there, and we have our meetings there as well. So sometimes we're kind of more like the house. Sometimes we're more in the workshop. Depends really what we're doing, but there's where basically all the work happens from in our meetings, and that's where we do our designing, strategy, machining, assembling. That's basically where all the hard work and love that goes with the robot all happens in there.
So, what are some ways your team has helped increase membership from underclassmen?
Nate, I think you should take that because
Okay.
You've been leading the mentors for a while.
Yeah, sure. So this has kind of two aspects to it, one of which is getting new students, and the other is getting them up to speed. And so with regards to the getting new students, what we do, because we're a community team, we're not actually affiliated with any school. And there are a few teams nearby who are school affiliated teams, but there's actually quite a few schools around here that don't have teams. And so we try to reach out to those schools, and we schedule demos, and we bring our robot shoot game pieces, stuff like that, and try to get the kids engaged. And then for the kids that do decide to join the team, we have a training program for SolidWorks, a training program for software, which I'm not that familiar with, but and then we also do projects with them to kind of either they're going to be somewhat more involved with them, or it's going to be that they're kind of helping along with someone else's project.
So like, adding on, how many people are like on your team total?
I think this year we're going to have 5 students, so not that many.
Mm-hmm.
The max we've had is 10.
Mm-hmm.
What are since you have such a limited amount of people, and like, what are some ways that your team has gathered sponsors? And like, if you don't mind, who are these sponsors?
Yeah, let me answer that one because I've been I have to deal with the financial aspect of the team. So most of our sponsors come from the families of the students. Obviously, we've had some community sponsors, friends, people who are interested in promoting development of youth in our communities, and then of course companies affiliated with our parents and families. And our big sponsors last year were Electrosolar. It's a company in New Hampshire. Another company called Iron Dragon Corporation. It's affiliated with one of our ex-students. And
Or alumni, yeah.
Alumni, yeah. Not ex-students, alumni, I guess. And then we've had sponsorships from a company that makes boards, I guess, ski boards, water ski boards. We have my own company, my own employer, Boyd Corporation. They're located in Florida, but they have factories here in New Hampshire as well. We've had Dr. Morali. He's a dentist in the Bedford area. He's been a long-time supporter, and Tommy, his parents run two different companies, and they've been supporters, and so is Ella's parents as well. And so we don't have major big sponsors. Somebody who gives us like $20,000 or anything like that. I think our biggest contributors are in the $5,000 range. But most contributions typically are in the maybe $1,000 to $2,000 range.
Like kind of on that, with like such a limited number of people on your team, how do you guys like delegate tasks or things like that, like getting things done on time?
Tommy, take that. You know how it's done. So.
So I would say from a lot of the work I do with the software development, how we can structure that. We do a lot of our development on GitLab. So with that, we're able to at the beginning of the season get a decent roadmap of how we're going to split up kind of our code base. And so off of that, we're able to figure out the different tasks we're going to be working on, and we can assign those GitLab tasks to different students. We can set deadlines for them. And so just kind of that flow allows us to, kick off the software development. And just over time, we have all these branches that we will merge into the master one. And, that's just kind of how we kick off the software side and how we delegate and get things done during the season.
And on the mechanical side, we generally have about one student per mechanism. So that's their mechanism that they're designing, and it'll all get integrated together. We have a master sketch that everything's based off of. And so if the master sketch is modified, then hypothetically, all the parts and everything will update. And so that helps get everything to fit together quicker as we're going through the season. Now, we never really have met our deadline for getting the robot done. Our deadline, so we go to the official week 0 every year, and that's kind of the robot has to be done by week 0. And sometimes it's more done than others. Let's just say that.
What was the software you said you used again for the, like you said, Master Sketch?
Oh, we design with SolidWorks. That's another one of our sponsors. Yeah.
Okay.
So our next question is like, do you guys have any specific fundraising initiatives to like raise more money for your team in any way?
We have tried several different ways of raising funds, and we find that the only way that actually works is for our students to talk to their families, to the employers of their parents, and we have not done any outreach like directly to big corporations like Google or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's only people that are in our neighborhoods and in maybe 30, 40 miles surrounding us that people know, and that and those people are interested in developing people, the young people in our New Hampshire area, and so that's the sponsors we have.
And something else for travel costs, sometimes some of our students have and their families have set up GoFundMe sort of things, and then they get some support from their neighborhoods and whatnot to help with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Wait, can I have like another question? Like, what's like the farthest a student has traveled to meet with their team? Or is it relatively close?
Ooh, this is a good question. Probably 40 minutes, maybe 45, depending on.
Yeah, it's typically that around 40, 45 minutes is typically the furthest student. I think, Tommy, you are like 30 minutes away, I guess?
Yeah, right around like the 35-minute mark from my house to the workshop.
I moved recently and my home is around 45 minutes, so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
She used to be a lot closer.
Yeah, like within 10 minutes.
Okay, so now coming to the robot, how has your robot evolved over the years?
So one main, pretty major development we had recently, within the past couple of seasons, was getting a swerve development. So in the 2023 off season, that was when we first did our swerve kind of startup development, and so we're able to, assemble the swerve drive base, get familiar with the swerve modules, not only mechanically, electronically, but also programming it. And so using that base, we were able to make an off-season robot for 2023 that we called Capybara. And it was just a little fun guy who could do cubes that are over Sonic. It was a really fun robot. That was the first robot kind of I got to work with. That for me was pretty important because that was also what kind of kickstarted my experience with programming a robot as well. But yeah, so that was pretty major because beforehand the team had just had West Coast tank drive. But yeah.
Yeah, we definitely, after 2023, we realized we really needed to invest in swerve because tank served us very well in previous seasons, but charged up was kind of we went into the season thinking we have to compensate for not having swerve because we didn't want to do swerve in the middle of build season. So we decided to build a telescoping arm on an elevator on a turret. And that was a choice. And so we thought, let's do swerve next time.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned swerve. Do you know what like specific gearing and like what motors you use for drive and turning? Like, do you use Neos or Falcons, Krakens, Vortexes?
Sure. So we use Krakens for the drive, but we actually use mini sims for the steer. At least we did this last season.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, like the Krakens will give you that powerful drive that you need, and you don't need much for turning, so it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, Krakens are expensive. It's like crazy. Do you know what gearing you guys run on your swerve? Like L1, L2, L3?
We had a belt ratio on that. I think it was, I don't know the exact ratio, but it was around 16 or 17 feet per second, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And have you guys added anything else like that that's like new to the robot in like the more recent years, or is it just swerve for the most part? You guys mentioned turret, elevator, and telescoping arm. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a thing. So I guess you could say that we've added that to our repertoire, but I don't know if anyone really wants to do something quite like that again.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose one other thing on the mechanical side that we did this year new compared to previous seasons is in the past when we've had a shooting game, we've either had a single position shooter or a 2-position with a pneumatic. This was the first time we put it on a motor, so we could actually adjust the angle for a wide variety of shots instead of just several fixed positions.
Okay.
So coming back to outreach, is your team affiliated with any like FLL, FTC teams, or do you guys like mentor them in any way?
So we've had a lot of our students have come through FLL. In fact, we had one time mentored an FLL team, and then 2 of those students from that team ended up joining. We're not currently affiliated with any FLL teams, but we're looking into seeing if we can start mentoring again in this coming season. FTC, we've also mentored a few teams over the years, our students have, and some of our students have actually kind of in their own school or their own friend group, they've kind of started their own FTC team that they do in the fall, and then in the winter they switch over to FRC. But right now I don't think we're affiliated with any FTC teams, but I could be wrong on that.
So, what are some major outreach initiatives you guys have taken? So, any local or international initiatives?
Do you want to take that, Tommy or Ella?
Yeah, I can. So one pretty major local outreach initiative we have is at a kind of like science center. So it's the McAuliffe Shepherd Discovery Center, and so there we're able to kind of set up a little area, bring a robot that we can do like a demo with. Usually we pick like a nice fun robot to bring, and there's a lot of kids there. So it's really cool to go there and see the interest that they can kind of gain when just checking out the robot. And they're there with their parents, so we have pamphlets explaining our team, and some other like first pamphlets as well that we can hand out. So we explain depending on what the age range of the kid is, explain like FLL, FRC, FTC, and it's a pretty fun outreach initiative. Personally, it's really cool to see the kids like have so much fun with the robot, and driving it around too is super fun as well.
That's definitely my favorite part.
It's always fun to see the crowd gathering, trying to catch all the game pieces and whatnot. Sometimes we generally will bring a robot from a shooting game, so that's way more fun for the kids and just more engaging with any crowd in general.
Yeah, I think over the longer term, we've done a lot of other events. We've been to the Air Force has event in which base is it? It's in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. There's an air base, and
it's Pease, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, Pease Air Force Base. They have that. We took our robots there for demo matches with a bunch of other teams. We've supported Dean Kamen's work in the New Hampshire area, where we've gone to like industry meetings. They're trying to help more industry members get involved with FIRST. So we did demos there. We went to a governor's workshop in New Hampshire. All of our kids, like I don't know, maybe 10 kids at the time, were quite prominent in that meeting. So I think we've tried to do things that are available in our area, and we support. Last year we went to Bow High School. The high school had a science day, and they wanted to have local industry and local teams who could come and get the kids all excited about science. So we were there. So our outreach is sort of governed by what's available in our neighborhoods, and we certainly support.
Okay, so continuing back, let's get back into the podcast. We know you guys' team made it to Einstein's and won the Johnson Division last year, so congrats. How did you guys feel about playing at Einstein's?
Tommy, would you like to go first, or should I?
Yeah, I can start with that. Yeah, so playing on Einstein. So this was my first FRC season. So everything throughout the season was new to me. But definitely Einstein was different from, everything else following up to that. I would say, competing there was some, a bit of pressure and some nerves, and it felt very, official and very high production quality just from how they had everything set up. But it was super fun getting there and competing at that level against those other teams was, challenging, of course, but very fun as well.
Yeah, like after each match, I was just thinking, okay, we've had it. This is it. We're probably going to go home. And then it kept on going again and again. The whole thing was just insane.
Yeah, okay, what am I trying to say? Yeah, so I've been in FRC for around 10 years now. And so it's always kind of been this goal, like this year, our goal is to make Einstein. And well, actually getting there was pretty insane. It's been a goal for so long. And kind of once we made it there, looking at some of the other alliances that were up, it's like, oh my God, TV Hoops are here, Citrus Circuits is here. It was kind of overwhelming a little bit. It was like a lot of pressure to put on the best show we could to, prove that we should be there. I think we made some great picks with our alliance. Texas Torque, phenomenal team. Really good coordination, really good strategy. Huskies as well, really great team. And Panther Bots, they didn't play on the field, but they really helped get us the win. And it was just a great alliance to be a part of. And I still can't really quite believe that we made it there, and definitely not in the moment either. But yeah, it was a great experience.
So of course you guys went to Worlds. Like, what's like your favorite part, or like what was your biggest takeaway of going there?
I can start that one out again. At the World's Championship down at Houston, the whole experience was super fun. Traveling down there. I would say the main thing for me, one of the main things was seeing all the huge variety of teams there, because it's no longer just in the New England competitions, but now there's teams there not just from all across the United States, but also at an international level. So just seeing the reach that First had there, it's cool, like being next to like having our pits right next to teams from different countries, and also another thing is just seeing those like high level teams in person, being able to check out their robots, be like 10 feet away from some of the top tier teams. That was pretty cool.
And you guys said, oh, sorry. Hey, continue, sorry.
That's all I have.
Ella?
Well, I'm trying to think of something different to say because that was also really cool for me. I think I just really liked competing because it felt, I don't know if I'm weird for thinking this, but like when you're running on like no sleep and the only thing you've had to eat that day is like a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it feels like, oh my goodness, this is the real deal. And I think that feeling that we were actually like accomplishing something and being cool, there's no better way to say it. I liked the feeling that we were doing something cool and that there were so many other people around that were probably also feeling the same way. I think that was my favorite part.
I think one of the most fun things about the championship, aside from what they've said, because I agree with what they've said as well, is there are some people who you get to know over the years, and you only see them once a year at the championship. So like Coach Norm of 2468, we only get to see him once a year. And so it's always fun to go in and talk to Team Appreciate and say hi. Then there's some other people we've met over the years as well. And there's teams that we've always looked up to that we've never, gotten the chance to meet. Like this year, we were in Johnson, and so was 973 Greybots. And as a team, we've always looked up to Greybots for a long time. And so actually, not only getting a chance to like talk to them in the queue before a practice match, but we actually had a calls match with them as well. And that was definitely a highlight of the competition for me.
Okay, so what sparked interest in robotics for each of you personally?
I can take that again to start with it. So for me, before I had joined the team, I had some programming experience, like a decent bit of that several years prior. I had a very slight but growing interest, in the general topic of engineering. So how I heard about the team was just from a friend's dad at my school, and I had no clue what FIRST or FRC was. It was a vague topic I'd heard about, but I figured I could try it out. And when I first started, it was a lot of information to take in, but it seemed like it could be something really fun. But competing in FRC this past season, and the whole time I've been on the team, it kind of lit that fire of engineering. So it's been a lot of hard work, but it's also been a lot of fun, and I've been loving the whole experience of being in FRC. Something is that it gives me the ability to do these other engineering projects I'm interested as well, because now I have these experiences from like mechanical, electrical programming. I can take it into any fun side projects, or maybe like things in automotive industry, fun stuff like that.
All right, so, well, for me, to be honest, I didn't really have an interest before joining the team, but my dad, he's responsible for developing the XRP, and he's a big tech guy, so it's always been a part of my life, but for the longest time I just sort of looked away because I didn't understand it. And then I was just sort of thrown into the deep end with FRC, and like that's how you teach kids to swim. So this has just been me learning how to swim, except it's with computers and not water, which don't mix at all.
I first learned about robotics because my brother got a Lego NXT way back in the day. And so I would see him building robots and programming them. And that was intriguing.
And more specifically, like, what do you guys want to go into in terms of like in the future?
For me, after for my future career, I'm not too decided on what specific industry, but definitely going to be something, or very good chance it's going to be something engineering related. And I would say that joining the team and participating in FRC has definitely pivoted my future vision for what I'm doing a lot. It's kind of made it a lot more engineering focused now, because now that I've been a part of that.
Well, for me, for the longest time, I was always considering being a lawyer and working in law, because I just think that's really cool, and get to do something hopefully right for the world. And I was thinking a good way to hopefully combine those interests is maybe intellectual property law, because I figured having an understanding of what it is you're working with would definitely help and maybe set you apart.
So have there been any alumni in your team which have pursued higher education in STEM?
Yeah, I'll take this because I'm probably the best equipped to talk about the alumni. Yeah, we've had quite a few alumni go into STEM fields. We've had some an alumni go into, I think he's in med school now, actually. So and we've also had like graphic design sort of related things, CS, mechanical engineering, all sorts of stuff. And I think a lot of our alumni have gone into those fields. Yeah.
New England is a district, right? So how do you like? Could you explain the district scenario? Because we being in Long Island and New York is a regional based state. So how can you explain districts quickly?
Sure. First of all, I hope you guys. Well, I guess I'm assuming that you want districts, but if you want districts, I hope that happens for you at some point soon. I think it's actually a pretty cool system because each team gets 2 competitions, and some sign up for 3, but each team gets 2, and they give you district points based off of how high you rank, where you're picked in eliminations, how far you get, and then also which awards you get. Most of them give the same amount, but I think Engineering Inspiration gives a little bit more, and then Impact gives the most. And then they take the top, I guess it depends on the district, but here in New England, they take 96 teams and send them to the district championship. And at the district championship, I mean, it's pretty intense. It's all the top teams in the district. And nowadays it's split into 2 divisions of around 48 teams each. And then they do the same thing with the same, they rank you get district points based off of how high you rank, how far you get in elims, et cetera, et cetera. But district championship, the points are tripled. So even if you barely make it into district champs, if you do well enough, you can still make it to Worlds. Whereas if you do really well, but then do not so great at district champs, it could be that you're not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of nice because you don't actually have to win the competition. We've only won 3 competitions in our team's history, including Johnson this last year. So if not for the district model, we would not have gone to Worlds as much as we have. And so I'm grateful for that.
And how many times have you guys gone to Worlds? You said you've been there a lot, but how many times have you guys gone?
This year would have been our 5th year going. I think, we went 2016, 17, and 18, missed 2019, and then COVID happened. So we don't know how that would have gone. But then we were there in 2022 and missed 23. And then we're there this year. So I think that's 5. Is that right? Yeah.
And going back to districts, there's even New York is trying to like shift towards districts. So they've changed it so there's no more wild cards or regionals anymore. So even if like all the teams that like are in the winning spots have already secured the right to go to World Championships, there won't be a wild card, and they are adding a point system. So that point system that you just talked about is being implemented, and it'll be implemented even more next year in 2026. So
Nice.
they are trying to shift toward like away from the winner goes, everyone else doesn't system, just to try and be a little more inclusive. So I think that's a step in the right direction, I guess, so that more teams can see what World Championships is all about.
I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. Now, I can't say that I really understand how the whole selection system goes. It's like every 2 weeks they take like, I don't know how many teams, but I haven't really made sense of it, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
So I think those are all the questions from our team. Now it's more open floor and you guys can ask us anything from robot to outreach.
I have a question for you guys. So for this most recent past season, what was the favorite part of your robot?
My favorite part of our robot, well, actually, we built 3 robots this year.
Wow.
We built a kit bot that's named Karl Ditters von Dittersdorf. He was an Austrian composer, student of Mozart. We thought he had a funny name, so we named our kit Bot Dittersdorf. I think the reason we like Dittersdorf is because it was like a way for our upperclassmen to teach our underclassmen about what like the components of a robot were and have like help. Like we didn't build Dittersdorf so much as we guided that underclassmen into building Dittersdorf so that they can come up with that foundation of what a robot is. That was probably my favorite part about all the robots. But then Swerve Drive is always fun.
Yeah, I didn't really work that much on the robots. I don't have much to say, but yeah, I do more outreach stuff. But
Yeah, last year, I mean, I mainly focused on CNC. I mean, I'm hoping to do more robotic and mechanical stuff this year, but yeah, I didn't have much like work on the robot last year.
any other questions?
I have a. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ella.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, what was your favorite competition that you went to? Because I'm just curious to hear sort of what it's like over there in New York.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, going to Worlds was a lot of fun. But also, I think my favorite regional we've been to was New York City because I like the atmosphere there much more. So we go to 2 regionals, one in nearby, like a near college called Hofstra. It's like on the island. And then the second one is in the city. So I like the city one because we started going from last year. So like we had experience to it last year, but like this year was nice seeing the teams we saw last year again, getting to meet up with them and then like exploring it was much more fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Nikki,
Oh, no, sorry, you can go.
No, you got it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I also like the New York City one more. Like the whole like atmosphere, like it just felt like I don't know. I felt more like I just felt like in that competition, like feeling more. It was like really fun.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess it's unanimous. I also like the NYC regional over the Long Island regional. It's in part because the venue's just bigger. It's at a big track and field complex as opposed to the gymnasium of a nearby college. So, and then there's a lot more teams there. I think I might be mistaken there. It's whatever. But NYC was also a lot like it was a big thing because we'd won EI at Hofstra, and then we went and won Impact at NYC the same year.
Congrats.
So it was like a big
moment.
like
Yeah.
big moment, yeah.
But it's
Surreal.
much more fun. And then we also became finalists. So it was like a lot at once.
Yeah. It was
That's
overwhelming kind of.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess
And it was good to see the teams that we'd met last year again and like reinforce those connections, I guess.
because you're not as close to the city as people think we are, so I don't really get to see the city teams as much. So it was nice like reconnecting with them after a long time.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Any other questions?
I had a couple questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
The first one is, how do you guys get your name out there into your community?
I think one of our biggest things we do is like we have like kind of like a STEM pipeline kind of thing. We have our FLL teams, which we mentor, and people from those FLL teams kind of like move up the ladder. Like they start from elementary school, middle school, and they come to our high school. We do a lot of STEM nights at elementary schools, which really spreads like our word, our team, and everything. So it really like entices the kids when they're seeing like how big our robots are and like all the things they're doing. Like for each year's game, like we like demonstrate it. So I think that's our biggest way of getting word around. We also host this like week 0 type of event called Regal Eagle Rampage, which is where we build like each year's game out of wood, like the whole field, and then we invite teams across the tri-state area and across the island to come and join and like troubleshoot their robot. It's like practice matches, but not really scored officially. And then
So it is actually on TBA.
yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So then like live streaming it and then like teams coming up to us and then like it spreads it within our community itself. So like people within our community can come and watch and see like what their like funds are being used for. Our sponsors can see like why we're asking them to support our team, because it's being used for something that not only benefits our team but like teams across the community as well.
And then building onto that, we also try and do demos at so recently we had a demo at Optimum, which is a nearby telecommunications company. So we brought our robot there and we interacted with all the other companies that were there. There was a hackathon and some tech event seminar. So we were just like collaborating and talking to all the other companies there in order to try and have them interested in us and try and maybe form those connections that could lead to sponsorships down the road. So we try and take whatever opportunities we get, but in the end, it's like we're just trying to do the best we can.
The next question I had was about, you mentioned CNC a few times, and so I'm curious what sort of machines and tools you guys have to work with.
Well, obviously we use the CNC quite a bit for a lot of our parts for the robot. We also use a lot of saws to obviously cut a lot of material. Is that what you're trying to like? Yeah. Are you talking about like specifically within the CNC or like other?
Well, just like what sort of what's the word?
Machine.
Power tools, not power tools. Like machinery, right? Our CNC's a 3-axis mill.
Cool.
It's a Shapeoko carbide. So that's what like Nikhil does, right? He's our CNC lead or one of them. So he helps like with the CNC. Any parts that we have from from our CAD, we use Onshape. We can like send over we'll make a drawing file out of it to make it convertible. Not bad vocab, but we'll send it over. He'll put it into the software, and we'll cut it into either Lexan or aluminum, and then it'll be used for the robot. So yeah, we use a lot of like custom parts on our robot. We don't use too much like bar stock, though it is used. We try and use custom parts because we felt it was like the most optimal. We also have a manual mill that we don't use too often, but sometimes we need to if it'll be too tedious to like set it up to CNC, because we haven't gotten to the point where we're like good enough to do the 3-dimensional like milling, where like right now we want to limit it to just 2D. And we also have a lathe that I don't know how long it's been since we've last used. We have Bamboo Labs X1C 3D printer. We use that quite a bit because, as I said, we custom design our parts a lot. So we print out of carbon fiber filament. We have it's like a metal bender. That's not what it's called, but it's a press, I think, and that we use every so often. Drill presses, band saws, table saws. Yeah, that's as far as I can think of right now. Oh, and obviously all the electrical stuff like soldering iron, heat gun, heat shrinks, everything.
Cool. It seems like you guys have a lot of good equipment.
Yeah,
nice.
we're really blessed. It's we're glad to have our superintendent in our school be so cooperative with us and helping us get to where we are. Because without them, we would be nowhere near where we are today.
Nice.
Actually, a related question on that. Do you have a very large space in your school, and is it like a big workshop or something, or what is your space like?
Yeah, we actually have within our school itself, we have a fairly large lab we use. So that's obviously where we have all these machinery and we build a robot. Yeah, it's fairly big for us to use. We also have a couple.
Oh, sorry, you can do.
No, it's okay.
No, you were saying something.
Oh, okay. So I mean, we also use a couple there's what's it called? Home improvement room that's like right next to the lab that we also use sometimes for a lot of our carpentry work. So yeah, we have a fairly large space within our school that we do a lot of the work.
Building off what he said, our school recently started a home improvement class in order to like be there an option for people that didn't want to go into traditional means. So it teaches electrical work, plumbing, carpentry, mechanics work for your car, and just other handyman work that you could use in your life that you might not learn traditionally. So that room is like right next door to our lab, which we've had for a long time. And as the years have gone on, we've gotten like there was a storage closet there that we got the wall torn down and we got more space in order to accommodate us. So we've had our lab for some time now, and it's just for the robotics team. So in our lab, there's no classes being taught. So since we have a lot of students at, I'm not sure the right number, actual true number, but I'm guessing it's around 30 to 40 students at least. And just because it is in our school and there is like a large student body for us to pull from, whenever we need space, we would either overflow into that next door home improvement room or into one of our computer labs, room 108, which is where one of our mentors teaches. So that's where the bulk of our work happens, and yeah, it's all part of the school.
I have one more question, and I think it's one that we struggle with, and that's again fundraising. How do you guys get your mentors and not mentors, but sponsors? And what kind of just give us a little bit of an idea of how you guys do that, and perhaps we can pick up a few tips as well.
Yeah, sure. So one of the biggest ways we get sponsors is through cold calling. So we have a lot of like local businesses and companies around us. So we cold call them, we tell them what our team is, what we've done in the past, how much funding we're really looking to get from them. And then a lot of them do express interest, like in the forms of like really small ones, give us like gift cards and things like that, like to use in it. Like we can give like during Regal Eagle Rampage, we do like 50-50 sales, or like we auction things off or things like that to make more money. So that's a big way we do it. We also have been recently applying for a lot of grants, which we've been very grateful in getting as well. So I think applying to a lot of grants really helped us because it's an easy way to get them, like not really calling, but more like bragging about your team to the company giving the grant. And then hopefully you guys get the grant as well. So Optimum is one of our biggest sponsors. They've been there for a while. So we're lucky enough to have the like relationship with them. But then also a lot of like the sponsors we get like through small businesses, they donate like food towards us, towards like when we have like meetings, like big team meetings during like build season, like peak build season type. So things like that. But yeah, I think cold calling and like applying for grants were like two of our biggest strategies last year to getting the most sponsors and funds.
And especially with Optimum, I think one of the main reasons is many of our like current students and alumni's parents have had or have a connection with Optimum. So like as in they've either worked there or currently work there. So that helped us build that initial like relationship. So as you said, that's a good place to start. And then from there, like I guess moving up the corporate ladder, trying to build those relations to like a greater degree. Because at one point there's only certain amount that you can do with each company. So if there's any way a friend's parent has works at this company, reach out to them, see if they're interested, and just try and make those like small connections first so that you can build them up. Is what I'd say.
Thank you.
I have one more question, which is, do you guys have any predictions about next year's game?
Oh, I have a lot actually. I actually talked about this with my friends. So next year's game being called Reefscape, it's definitely going to be a crowded game. It's not going to be an open field. So I would say I don't think you can get away with tank drive just because after the advent of Swerve and everybody using it, it's made the game like I feel like less creative, but it's also made it a lot more competitive. So if you don't have Swerve, I feel like you're at a major disadvantage. So I'm excited to see how they make their kitbot and the game so that it is not crazily advantaged towards people who have Swerve. And I definitely think it's going to be pick and place. They've kind of been going back and forth, shooter, pick and place, shooter, pick and place. With Rapid React being shooter, the basketball game, and then Charged Up being pick and place, Crescendo being shooter. So I definitely think it's gonna be a pick and place game. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it'll be smaller objects because they went first with cones and cubes. I'm thinking it'll be like at least like like the gator skin dodgeballs. I'm guessing around that size. Like they used them in the past. That's my size, and I feel like either the materials will be to build an artificial reef, there'll be water droplets, or there'll be like animals like fish that you have to either relocate. So those are my predictions for the game. I want to know what you guys think.
Okay, well, I have some predictions as well. My guess is that one of the game pieces is going to be pick and place, and the other one is, regardless of it's pick and place or not, it's going to be recycled back into the field like the balls were in Rapid React. But unlike the notes this year, how they just, once they were used, they were done. And that's mainly coming from that there's only 18 on a field, and that doesn't seem like enough game pieces for 2 alliances unless it's being recycled.
Where'd you get the number 18?
When they announced that there were 2 game pieces, they said that you could buy a set of 20 from Embark, and that's 2 more than what would be on a full field.
Oh, okay. Wait, they've already started selling game pieces?
You can pre-order them, but you can't.
Okay.
You don't know what they are.
Okay.
They said there's 2 game pieces. One of them you can pre-order, and that's the one that there's going to be 18 of. And the other one you can't, and the reason you can't is because it's going to be so widely available that they think that people would be upset that they paid for shipping when they could just go buy it in a store.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that would be.
So the pre-order one's definitely going to be on crazy backlog because everybody's going to want that, especially if, I don't know, maybe if it's a limited amount, it's a small amount. Because with the notes, for a full field, you had like 100 plus. It was crazy. We were on crazy back order, even buying from Gopher, not even from Embark. It was crazy back order. We didn't get them till not too long before our week 0 event. So yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited for the water game, the fabled water game.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on First to get the water game right because if
they don't meet the hype.
Yeah, exactly. It's been anticipated for so long that they have to get it right. And so I have faith in the game design team that they'll pull something fun out of the hat.
They've been teasing it for a long time with like water game loading, and they'd add a splash to the intro and then it would be completely unrelated. But I'm excited.
Any other questions from anyone else?
Me, Ella, you guys have any other questions?
Not that I can think of right now, no. But
Any more from me?
never mind, sorry.
So thank you guys so much for coming on. Sorry if it was really long, but it's fine.
This is great.
Good luck this season, and we'll hopefully see you guys at Worlds if everything works out.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us on.
Good luck to you too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
And hope to see you guys at Worlds as well.
Yes.
Yes, we'll see you guys there.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.